Mrs. Sumner.
I appreciate your seeing me so quickly.
No, it's my pleasure. It's very nice to see you.
Thank you.
Would you sit down? Well, I was speaking earlier this morning with your uncle.
Uncle Charles?
Yes, a business matter he had asked me to work on, and I hadn't had a chance to get back with him on it. So he was anxious to know what I'd found out.
I hope you were able to give him good news.
Oh, yes, I was. As a matter of fact, he was very, very pleased. Oh, that reminds me, I haven't had a chance to congratulate you on your good news.
My good news?
Yes, your marriage, of course. Oh, no, wait a minute. Maybe I got that wrong. It's the man that you congratulate, and to the bride go best wishes. Right?
Yeah, well, actually, Mr. Myers, in this case, congratulations aren't really in order for either one of us.
I beg your pardon?
Well, you see, that's why I'm here. I'd like to ask your help in ending the marriage between me and Von Sumner.
Mrs. Lucas, I'm leaving. I'll be back in a couple of hours. Vaughn.
Morning, Preston.
Well, I didn't expect to see you this morning.
Going somewhere?
Yes, I was just leaving.
Mind if I ask where?
King's Arms. I have an appointment at noon.
Oh, so you wouldn't happen to be going by Fairhaven Nursing Home by any chance, would you?
Fairhaven?
Come on, Preston. Let's quit the games. I know you've moved your wife to Kingsley.
How'd you find out?
Because I called Rose Hill. I was hoping to take Courtney to see her mother this weekend, but, well, you can imagine my surprise to find out that Phyllis isn't even there anymore.
Well,
It moved her more than a week ago?
I'm sorry you had to find out like that. It must have been quite a shock.
Oh, you have no idea, Preston. All I'd like to know, though, is why you did it. Just tell me that. Why? Preston? I'm waiting. I think I deserve an answer.
All right, come on in.
Listen, really, why wasn't I informed about this? You've moved her over a week ago?
I was planning on telling you.
Oh, when? Next year sometime?
No. Look, I haven't even told Courtney yet. That's where I was going, to tell her, then you. Even if I wanted to, this is something I could hardly keep a secret.
Preston, I promised you a long time ago that if you ever tried something like this, I'd ruin your reputation. Oh, brother, when this news gets back to Chicago, and your friends hear that you've moved your wife from Rose Hill to this third-rate flop house in Kingsley...
Wait a minute. Fairhaven is not cheap. It is not third-rate. It is a very reputable home. Now, I know there's going to be some gossip, but I'll tell you something. As far as gossip and appearances are concerned, they're not as important to me as that all seemed a few months ago.
Oh, brother, that is a change for you, Preston.
Yes, I think I have changed over the last few weeks. See, what is most important to me now is the happiness of the people I care about.
And not that I expect you to give a hoot about my happiness, Preston, but you did enter into a gentleman's agreement with me.
What agreement?
To help win Courtney back. And I actually believe
Wait a minute,
that
I never promised to help you win Courtney back. I told you I wanted to stay out of this. I want Courtney happy. Now, whether she chooses...
Oh, come on, Preston. The only reason that she married me in the first place was because she needed me. My family's wealth tied to carpenter shipping would assure Phyllis of the care that she had become accustomed to. Well, now that you've moved your wife to this less expensive place in Kingsley, you've taken away my one trump card, Preston. You've eliminated her need for me.
The only thing I have eliminated is the possibility of my daughter being forced to remain in a marriage where she isn't happy.
I believe I can make her happy, Preston, but I need the chance to prove it.
All right, you've got that chance as of right now.
Oh, come on, what are you talking about? As of now, Courtney doesn't even have to speak to me.
But you're just going to have to convince her all over again. You're going to have to sell your love to her. As far as Courtney is concerned, you're back on square one. You've got a chance to start over right now. Only this time, it's going to be done properly. No pressure. No blackmail. No threats.
Well, Miriam Mason, I do believe you're blushing. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, now, don't misunderstand. I don't mean to give you the impression that there's anything really serious between Jeremy and me.
Wait a minute. Now, you just told me the other night that he risked his life to save you from that fire. I think that sounds serious.
He's just such a special person. I've never known anybody like him before.
How do you mean?
Oh, he's so sensitive. He just feels everything so deeply, and he doesn't mind showing me his feelings.
Oh, that is special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what else? All that unpleasantness that was going on with Lance. While all that was going on, he actually admitted to me that he was afraid of his brother. And now that Lance is dead, he's allowing me to see all of those feelings, that grief.
Oh, you're a fortunate lady, Miriam, because that is a very rare and wonderful quality in a man.
I know, but you know, at the same time, it scares me, that kind of vulnerability.
What do you mean it scares you? Why?
Well, because I've never been that open and honest with another person. Never. Not in my whole life.
Wait a minute, you're being pretty honest with me right now.
Yeah, okay, but I'm talking about an honesty that goes much deeper, the kind of thing that really comes from your heart that you just cannot fake.
And you're threatened by that kind of honesty?
Well, it seems that it demands the same kind of honesty in return. I'm not sure I'm capable of that.
Let me ask you something. Exactly what do you think it is you want in a relationship? I mean, what do you want with Jeremy?
I don't know. I suppose I want all of the benefits of a close relationship without having to take any of those risks.
Well, I suppose we'd all like that.
Yeah, what would you mean by that, though?
No, I just think it would be a lot easier if we didn't have to be vulnerable in a relationship.
I know that you don't mean that. Because listen, if there's one thing I pray for, it's a relationship just half as good as yours and Ben's. I mean, everybody knows you have the best marriage in the entire world. And that's one thing I've been meaning to ask you about, because I want to know what on earth is your secret. I'm serious. I really want you to tell me about it.
Why would Monica Evans want to say anything negative about the clinic? I don't understand.
Oh, well, I think it's a personality clash more than anything.
Between her and Ben.
Yes, they've already gotten into a couple of hassles over it. At first, Ben didn't want to have anything to do with the woman, or the article. But I finally changed his mind on that. But now I think he may have alienated her to the point where no amount of cooperation will help.
Oh, Dave, I'm so sorry.
Oh, look, that's all right. It's not your problem. I shouldn't have unloaded on you.
No, you didn't unload on me. I asked you to tell me.
Yes, well, you know, it's, neither of us can do anything about this. So, why don't we just forget about the clinic and talk about something else?
Okay. Have you talked with Stacy recently?
You did it again.
Did what?
Well, I had hoped when I invited you to lunch that we would have forgotten about our problems and just enjoyed each other's company. But in the short time we've been here, you've managed to bring up the two things that I least wanted to talk about. Your son-in-law and my daughter.
So what you're saying is that your marriage with Vaughn Sumner has never been consummated?
Because he is impotent as well as sterile. Exactly.
My. What a tragedy. And you had no knowledge of this before the marriage, right?
Well, a friend of mine had come to me a few days before the wedding and, had raised certain questions about Vaughn's ability to father children.
Ah. Well, may I ask, was this a woman friend?
I'd rather not say who it was. Besides, I think that's beside the point anyway.
Right. That's right. But the point is that you entered the marriage in good faith.
and found out later that I'd been deceived.
Now, see, that's the key issue here. Your husband deceived you, knowing full well about his condition. Mrs. Sumner, I don't think there will be any problem at all in dissolving this marriage.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say that.
In fact, given these circumstances, I have no doubt that we can get you a very substantial divorce settlement.
Oh, no. No, Mr. Myers, I don't want a divorce.
What do you mean?
I want the marriage annulled.
Annulled? Well, now, Mrs. Sumner, let me explain something to you. See, an annulment doesn't dissolve a marriage. It's merely a legality to establish that both parties can return to their previous single status as if no marriage ever existed.
Yes, I know.
Well, I'm sure you can see that if there's no divorce, there can be no divorce settlement. So naturally, it's in your best interest to get a divorce.
I realize that, Mr. Myers. I want the annulment.
But why?
It's not only for myself that I want this. It's very important to someone else. Are you interested in the case or not?
Oh, yes. I'm definitely interested. I just can't help feeling that you are making a serious mistake.
Well,
here.
that's because you just don't understand all the circumstances. I won't be keeping you any longer. If you could just draw up the necessary papers as soon as possible, I'd appreciate that.
I certainly will, yes, as soon as I can.
Thank you.
What is it, Dave? Is something wrong with Stacy?
Oh, no, she's fine. Everything's all right.
Well, have you talked with her recently?
Yeah, just yesterday. She came by the clinic to see me. Had a couple of tickets for the Carlisle String Quartet, but, well, I couldn't go.
Why? You love chamber music.
Well, I had already told you that I'd spend the evening with you.
But I would have understood.
Well, I know that, Terry, but
Dave, Stacy doesn't approve of you seeing me so much, does she?
it's only because she doesn't understand how I feel about you.
Maybe you don't understand Stacy's feelings.
How do you mean?
Dave, Stacy and Kate were very close. In her mind, she's just being loyal to her mother's memory.
Well, I don't think it's loyalty as much as it is a matter of misinterpretation of the facts.
She suspected me of, coming on to you during the trial, and even before, didn't she?
I'm not even going to repeat what she said, because her perception of our relationship, both past and present, is totally distorted.
Well, you don't have to tell me. I can pretty well guess.
You know, her doctor said that she's psychologically strong enough to function normally now. But her reaction to our seeing each other, well, it makes me wonder.
It also leaves you hurting, too, doesn't it?
In the long run, her objections don't really matter.
Dave, Stacy is your child, just as Peter is my child. Their objections shouldn't matter, but the fact is they do.
Peter still resents me, doesn't he? Because I wouldn't tell Courtney what I'd learned about Vaughn.
He doesn't see it in the light of professional ethics. He's taken it personally.
Which exactly is what Stacy's doing. Taking our relationship as a personal rejection of herself.
Dave, young people have a tendency to do that, you know. To interpret facts in a subjective way. But I think I know where she's coming from.
I sometimes wish I was understanding as you were.
Dave, let me ask you something. Do you think it'd be better if we didn't see each other for a little while?
Absolutely not. Look, we're adults, Terry, and regardless of what our kids think, we have a right to live our lives. And right now, you're very much a part of my life.
Then, would you mind if I spoke with Stacy myself?
Why would you do that?
Well, I don't know if I can change her thinking any, but I'd at least like to try.
Well, maybe that's what it needs. A woman's touch.
Preston, you know what you've done could very well mean the end of my marriage?
It's possible. But it is also possible that I will force you two to deal with each other on equal terms.
I don't understand you, Preston. A marriage between our two families used to be all important to you.
Well, what was all important to me before is not as important to me now as is my daughter's happiness.
And you're convinced she can't be happy with me.
Look, I've never said that. Now, why do you keep saying that when I tell you it isn't so? Look, all I have done is taken steps to ensure that if Courtney decides to stay in the marriage, it's because it's what she wants, and not out of a sense of obligation or duty to me or her mother. Now, Vaughn, you've got to excuse me. I'm going to be late for the luncheon with Courtney, and I don't want to be. Look, why don't you drop in while we're having lunch?
Courtney's happiness is important to me, Preston.
Good. Then we've got common ground.
It's just so stupid to ever hide this problem from her. But it was because I love her.
Yeah.
And I was afraid.
I understand that. Now, look, don't get discouraged. I mean, if it's really love, no matter what the problems are, it'll all work out in the end.
Oh, come on, Lori. It's true. Everybody knows you have the best marriage of anybody I know.
I know. It seems that way.
Seems... wait a minute. What are you talking about?
Well, Ben and I have a lot going for us. But, well, we just have a little bit of strain between us at this moment.
I'm sorry. Look, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to pry.
Oh,
at
no, you
all.
didn't. No, it's just that what you said before was true, that it is very difficult to be vulnerable with another person, and sometimes it's very painful.
But you and Ben really love each other.
Oh, yeah. If we didn't have that to fall back on, things would be much worse than they are.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Don't misunderstand me. I mean, Ben and I are really deeply committed to each other. It's just that it doesn't mean we don't have any problems.
Well, I guess no marriage is perfect, huh?
The truth is, really, with Ben, is that he's going through a kind of crisis concerning his career. He's even looking for another job.
He wants to leave the clinic?
Well, according to him, the clinic has become a dead-end street for him. All the rewards and the challenges that were there originally, they've just gone out for him. And at the same time, the pressures and the stress have just become tremendous, so he is determined to leave.
Okay, so how do you feel about this?
Well, you know, on the one hand, I really want to be supportive of what he wants. But in my heart of hearts, I believe the clinic is where he belongs.
So does Ben know how you feel?
Yeah. And really, we don't know how it's going to turn out yet, so... Hey, you know, I don't want you to say anything about any of this, okay, Mom?
Oh, no, it's fine, I won't.
And
It's
please
good.
don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discourage your relationship with Jeremy.
Oh, I know. You're just trying to give me the idea that just because two people get married, it doesn't necessarily mean that all their problems will disappear magically, right?
Yes, unfortunately, it doesn't work out that way.
Not even for the perfect couple, for Ben and Lori?
Yes, not even for Ben and Lori.
Thanks for sharing with me. Sure. You know what he does? He just tells me at least you're normal human beings like the rest of us, and, well, I know that even with your problems, you can still love each other.
And still have hurt and anger at the same time. I guess that's what vulnerability is all about.
And so that's why you asked me to lunch to tell me about Mother?
Yeah. I'm sorry I didn't tell you I was going to move her, but... well, I apologize for that.
Dad, you don't have to apologize for that. It was your decision to make.
Well, since I'm going to be spending a lot more time here in Kingsley, I thought it was important that she be close to me, where I could see her more often.
Have you been out there yet?
The Fairhaven? Oh, yes, just several times.
And does she seem to like it?
Honey, your mother has lost such contact with reality that I don't think she even knows she's been transferred. But I'm pleased with what I see out there. It's a pleasant place, and the care she's getting is excellent.
Ah, well, I'm glad you told me. I'd like to go out and visit her as soon as possible myself.
Good.
Have you told Vaughn?
Yes, I told you.
Oh, he must have been furious.
Well, he was at first, but... Well, I wasn't as concerned about his reaction as I was about yours.
You know, Dad, a few months ago, I probably would have been very upset about this. With her condition getting worse, it's better she's nearby. No, I'm not upset. I think it took courage to do what you did. And I think it's going to fit in very nicely with my plans.
Oh, what plans?
I don't think I want to say right now, but I think we will be seeing less and less of Vaughn Sumner in the near future.
Hello, Courtney.
What are you doing here?
Actually, I have a meeting with a client. Hope you don't mind.
Oh, no. You can see whomever you like, if you'll excuse
Wait a
me,
minute,
Father.
Courtney, come on. Good. Don't get angry with him. It's my fault. I put him up to this. So, look, I think it's time the two of you sit down and talk to each other.
See, I'm willing if you are, Courtney.
Look, you're still man and wife. You're gonna have to deal with each other. I mean, you move in the same circles. His father's on the board of our company. Now, why don't you sit down and practice being civil to each other?
Come on, Courtney, let's not make a scene. I mean, you can spare 5 minutes, can't you?
Oh, sure, now. 5 minutes. It won't kill you, huh? That's a good girl. See you later.
Sit down, Vaughn.
Thank you.
All right, let's talk.